Uh, Hi, Ahsan and Rob. Welcome to my channel. Welcome for accepting my request to appear on my channel. So today we will be talking about the saga of Elon Musk versus Sam Altman. We will talk about artificial intelligence. What is this fight about? Is it about business interest or so? Is it? We will also discuss about artificial intelligence. Is it existence to human beings? Will we will there will be programming job? Are we sending our kids to learn programming? So we will be talking about these discussions. So Asan and Ram both are enterprise architects, so we will be discussing these things more from technical point of view. Hi Asan and Ram, welcome.
Hey,
So
Hey,
Asan,
Vikas.
hi Asan, hi Ram.
Glad to be here.
So Asan, as we know, let me give little bit background of this saga, this legal tussle between Elon Musk and Sam Altman. So Elon Musk has sued Sam Altman. He accused Sam Altman that he has deviated from the initial agreement they reached that OpenAI should be open to everyone. So this is there. Let me go a little bit in the history of this fight, how it started. It seems uh, Elon Musk, he met couple of years back. He met a another artificial intelligence guru called Hasinovis. I'm getting not getting his name right. So Elon Musk was explaining to him that why he is s- sending people to Mars, why he is so passionate about setting up a human life, human town on Mars. He was worried that Earth may face a lot of problems. We may have a nuclear war where whole Earth will be could be destroyed. We can have a natural disaster. We can have some meteor falling from the space and destroying the Earth. So he wanted to make sure that humankind exists in that kind of eventualities. And this artificial intelligence scientist told him that artificial intelligence is another threat to humankind. It can surpass human intelligence. It can put human being out of existence. So Elon Musk was very worried about artificial intelligence. He tried to persuade Google to put some safety around their research. Google was going a full drive ahead into artificial intelligence, but he couldn't stop them. Then he met Sam Altman, I think it was 2014-15, and both of them agreed that they need to put artificial intelligence under control. They need to put some safeguards. Should be assistant to human beings. It should not reach the level of humans. It should not surpass humans. And initially, Elon Musk invested $40 million into OpenAI. And at the same time, Elon Musk was so much impressed with artificial intelligence that he tried to convince Sam Altman that they need to combine their department with Tesla self-driving car, where Sam Altman didn't agree. And Elon Musk started his own artificial intelligence initiatives. We know they are working on Neuralink, which will install chip on a human's brain. They are working on their own robot, supercomputer dojo, which can be trained on a lot of videos. And Sam Altman decided to go with Microsoft. Microsoft invested $13 billion into OpenAI. OpenAI then released ChatGPT, and the rest is history. So, Asan, what do you think? This dispute between Elon Musk and Sam Altman, is it about corporate interest, or Sam Altman is really worried about humanity? Is it philosophical? Is it based on some other concerns?
Yeah, that's a good question. So it's hard to tell what's really going on in their heads, right? So in Elon Musk's head, so he's been a great innovator. He's been, coming up with a lot of innovative products and solutions, and and companies. Uh, Partly, my guess is it's a competition, and it's not just, you know, he, there's probably a genuine concern that that could be potentially, if misused, AI could be, a bad thing. But between Altman and Musk, it might be a healthy competition to a certain degree. And Elon has been, known for being, drawing attention to him, saying things, something controversial, saying, that kind of draws a lot of eyes towards him, right? So I think it's partly because that, to me, I see that, partly there's a competition between them. There's a, he does really want to, because fundamentally SpaceX and Tesla rely on AI, so he needs a product and that kind of supports that, right? So there could be, my guess is mostly a lot of competition. But yeah, there's probably a tiny bit of genuine concern about potential threat for AI. That would be my take.
Ram, what do you think?
So again, we don't know what's going on in their head, right? I completely with that, right? Let's judge with what the information that we have right in front of us. Um, Elon Musk is an innovator. He wants to be always get into the market first, make money out of it, and then the market follows him. Let's take an example of Tesla, right? Tesla Model Y was somewhere around 80K. Now it's around 43K because market is flooded with EVs. So he has competitions now. So right. So he's trying to make money out of technology. I see him as a good corporate leader, good businessman, great innovator. Probably he has some kind of allegiance towards a human man, humankind too. There could be or may not. But in terms of how the case between Elon Musk and Sam Altman, from my perspective, right, both are into uh, innovating something. Innovation means there is a lot of time, money involved in it, right? We all, as you said, $40 million and a $13 million, $13 billion investment from another company. It's a huge difference, right? So obviously these products mature as days goes by. So you have to be a little bit patient here. So Elon Musk is not, from my perspective, I know that he's not a patient person. He wants to innovate. He wants to go to the market first. So he doesn't want to, stay in the same ship, right? If I see Microsoft, Google, or Apple for that matter, they don't have that capability right from their core. They've been always an operating system company, having products a little bit, right? So they never started anything from the core except for Google, right? So Microsoft always have a threat from Google that Google will get into the artificial intelligence market. So Microsoft has to tag with somebody else to stay alive. So that's where the $13 billion investment came from Microsoft. Microsoft has made a lot of bad investments. They made like 87 billion, sorry, 60 plus billion dollars on a gaming company, which is not even talking about people, right? So $13 billion into something that is going to be a innovation into the market is nothing for Microsoft. So they had a chance, they see a chance, and then they partnered with it. So now going back to Musk, hey, you know what? I partnered with them, but I took my investment out, right? You cannot go back and then say that, hey, you know what? We started with this company and everything. You were never, what do you call it? You don't have any more investments on that company. Don't talk about it, right? You're not a major shareholder, right? So you lost the boat, you lost the competition. You don't have that capability anymore. You are trying to be a crybaby here. That's what I see with the information that I have. Uh, Again, I don't know what is going on in his head, right? We don't know about that.
That's true, Ram. Uh, I never thought 5 years back, if you have told me that artificial intelligence will reach to this level, I would have laughed at you. Like if somebody would have told me 5 years back, artificial intelligence is a threat to our jobs, forget to existence, I would have laughed. But I am shocked with ChatGPT capabilities. I'm shocked how it generates the code. I'm shocked how it writes emails, how we have an idea, how it checks for the grammar, how it embellishes, what things it does, I'm really, really shocked. So, Asan, my question is to you, like, do you really think Elon Musk is right? Is artificial intelligence is threat to human existence? Means, is it as catastrophe as nuclear war?
Well, I think we are far away from the Terminators. The Terminators AI. That's we're not there. I don't think we're even close. But people are a bigger threat to people. It's a people in the sense that people can use AI for good. People can also use AI for bad. Something. Just imagine, in the last couple of decades or so, there's been a lot of scams, right? So a lot of younger population as well as elderlies get scammed through a lot of different things. You've seen Nigerian scams, scams from social securities and all this stuff, right? So there are people who can potentially use AI to scam people with a lot of money, or you know, potentially break into security and just
Did we lose Ahsan?
It looks like.
smart individual who are doing bad things. So I think I see that more, that people potentially using AI to do something bad, not AI becoming intelligent. You know,
So,
um,
like Ram, like one question it brings to me that if we know how artificial intelligence works. It works on based on neural network. It's like you feed big data and this machine building its own algorithm without its logic. And most of artificial intelligence scientists or researchers or programmers, they cannot tell you how this decision was taken. As I remember last time, this was not traceable how the neural network worked. So now it's a fact that a lot of stock marketing is happening on autopilot. I hope they are using some rules for doing that stock market purchasing. That's what I heard. It's all automated. It's all based on artificial intelligence. Computers are making all the transactions. So that brings us to my concern that we are using artificial intelligence, neural network, which we don't know how they are taking decision. So the question is like, is it a danger if we don't regulate it based on stock exchange? Somebody may put it in charge of nuclear button. So what do you think about what are the threats from artificial intelligence? Potential threats.
See, till atom bomb was dropped in Hiroshima, we didn't know the dangerous effect of atom bomb, right? So something happens till that point of we don't know. Are we close to know it's happening? Again, I cannot, I don't know. I don't know. No, hope not. Definitely, we are not in the Terminator age. Definitely not sure. The robots and then the artificial intelligence models that we have, they are still taking feedback from humans. It's not like they can go autonomous. Unless they go autonomous, we will never reach to the point where artificial intelligence is danger to us. But that said, in the current scenario, as Ehsan said, right, people have been scammed using artificial intelligence. They're using fake noise, voice, fake facials to cheat people, right? So there is a slight concern about how artificial intelligence is used by general public. But this is where every bigger organizations like Google, Microsoft, they have an ethics sorted out from the organization level. There is an international committee that talks about artificial intelligence ethics, right? Safer for humankind. No, same for all. Treats everything equal. All informations are equal to all human beings. They're all keeping it, right? It is this all these technologies are with the bigger organizations. 99% of these technologies are with bigger organizations. So as long as they are ethical, we will have a good side of artificial intelligence for a while. But there is always this 1%, like common public, where they don't have a mature model, where they are using it on a day-to-day basis. Still, there is a problem with that, right? This is where the general upskilling of the public is needed. Where to draw the line between what should we use on a common today we need artificial intelligence. For example, like especially banks, all the fraudulent transactions, we need artificial intelligence. We just cannot go over each and every transactions right now to figure out, hey, is it a fraudulent transactions or not. We need artificial intelligence to do it, because there are millions and millions of transactions are passing by, so you don't have time to even evaluate each one of them. There were times where only the major things have been caught, right? Today we have algorithms to check fraudulent transactions that pops up every now and then it has its own way of to deviate. Hey, this is right, let's pass it. This is not right, let's go for human feedback. So there, we definitely need artificial intelligence. We need to adopt it. We need to mature with it. But on top of that, we need to have something like ethics that covers and then make it safer for humans. um, Hopefully my generation or another two generations will be safe. I don't know what beyond that, right? So I'm not really worried about it.
That's what Elon Musk is accusing of OpenAI. It seems he is telling OpenAI has already achieved artificial general intelligence in some of his products. And one interesting thing I learned that it's about databases. Like artificial intelligence works when you have huge databases. Microsoft has huge databases because of the Bing. Google has huge databases because of their search, and Elon Musk has lot of videos from the Tesla, and he using Twitter also as a leverage. He is a Twitter. People putting so many tweets. We can come to know a lot of human behavior, how they are reacting based on the tweets. So, is it Twitter? Do you guys think Twitter is a really great for artificial intelligence, means it's a great database for artificial intelligence? We-
I mean,
Well,
the purpose of
go ahead,
Twitter is
Ram.
for people to know what's happening, right? It's like a headline news. I mean, there are other social medias like Facebook, Instagram, like it's been used for a different purpose. So Twitter has a role to play, especially with adult politicians, businessmen, even educated. Uh, there is a role for Twitter. But going back to the everything, right? I mean, all these organizations have huge database. The models are built on the existing data. AGI is where it can predict future, right? We don't know what is future. That's exactly, it's completely unknown. I mean, there could be AGI to a little bit limit. I don't know. Again, I'm not as why I should say literate on the AGI side. I know that we are in the GI phase right now. We have the general intelligence with artificial intelligence, right? The 80% of the things that we could do in artificial intelligence is been already happened, and we accord the 20%, right? It's like people say like, hey, if you're losing weight from 300 pounds to 180 pounds, getting to 200 pounds is easier. From 200 to 180 is the difficult part. That's where we are in right now. And it's going to take years and years to do it. And we have come to billions and billions of parameters, but future is completely unknown. How can you parameterize future? Right? So when we get into the AGI phase, that means that computer has to build its own model for tomorrow, day after tomorrow, 3 days from now, 1 week from now. And then it has to include all those so many parameters to come up with the scenario, right? That is difficult, right? I can make a movie without Kamal Hassan acting in a movie. That is possible right now. That's where we are in right now. I know what Kamal Hassan does. We can write a nice screenplay based on what is needed. I know I have all those generative format with me to make a movie without Kamal Hassan in it, but I can put Kamal Hassan as an actor in it, right? But can you figure out some new actor who's never existed but who's going to be a superstar? That is AGI. I don't think we will
Mhm.
ever get to the point. At least I don't know what is needed to get to that point.
We-
Yeah, and two, one thing I would also add is that a lot of these social media companies, the data that's there, they have plenty of data, that's for sure, but a lot of it are public data to a certain degree, and whatever we're sharing and putting out there. Of course, sometimes we're not smart enough and we're putting something that's sensitive data, which we shouldn't put it out there. So yes, you can build AI models to probably understand, uh, people behavior, predict certain behavior and target certain population accordingly. But there's also a certain set of data that are tied within regulated industries, certain companies. Let's say companies like health, who are in healthcare, biotech, finance. A lot of those sensitive data. You gave an example of trading. A lot of this data is not coming out necessarily. Some of their outside. Yes, they are looking at some of the market data, but there's some proprietary information that's really not going outside of those domains. Healthcare, biotech is always hesitant to kind of use AI in a certain ways because it's regulated. It's regulated to a certain degree and you don't want to expose yourself. So expose yourself. Yeah, they have to conform to, let's say, a companies, they have to conform to regulation from FDAs and EMAs. They are coming up with certain guidelines, certain regulations around it, how you can potentially use AI. But the data is key. How you safeguard, let's say, patient data, this is, drug information and so on, is very controlled. So those are not, you're not going to find in Twitter. Those you're not going to find. So that those kind of information in Facebook, so that's why I think there are some companies are already taking the safeguards, whether there's regulations or not, out there with their proprietary information. And then, yeah, but as Ram was saying, future is unknown. I mean, yes, you can build certain predictive models, how people will behave, but it's always evolving. And there's a human factor kind of always helping to train the models. It's like it's not always autonomous. I mean, to a certain degree it is, but not.
One thing I'm seeing a lot of, as I told you, I never thought ChatGPT, the way it generates essays or those kind of summaries. Some professors have started predicting a future where they say there would be no programming. Uh, so, so a lot of means personally, I don't think that way. But as Ram said, like we cannot predict the future. But currently, it doesn't look like to me I can take a code from ChatGPT and run it without human intervention. But I'm working with the art from ChatGPT, okay, sometime I'm generating thumbnails for my YouTube videos. Sometime I'm writing scripts. I have ideas. Sometime I have thought of hiring some script writer, writing my scripts for certain essays. So with ChatGPT, I think we don't need those people. But would there be a job for serious writers? Yes. A lot of time I tell ChatGPT to generate particular image and it cannot generate that particular image, whereas the artist can generate. And so what you guys think, like would you tell your kid to learn computer programming? What are your thoughts? Will there be computer programming jobs?
Absolutely, absolutely. See, we are not going to write code from scratch. That phase is gone. We are definitely going to start some phrase. I mean, especially today, we have a Copilot GitHub, right? I don't need to start anything from scratch.
Right.
I just give information saying that, hey, you know what, I'm going to read a database from SQL Server. No, I need to hold 1,000 records, sort them this, and then like I need to store it in this. I get a code, GitHub gives me the code, and then I just start with that, and then I just make manipulation that I need to do with, right? So obviously, to get to that level, there is some kind of literacy is needed. So that literacy you have to train them, right? It's not going to come from that, right? Yeah, you don't need to write from scratch. You don't need to learn semantics and syntaxes that we use in programming languages before. That's gone. That's very much true because we have so much of source out there that can figure out that for you. But you still need to know what the code does. So you have to learn programming. That's where the literacy comes in. So it's going to be a new set of skill sets that is needed from years to come my skill sets are going to be diluted, right? It's not going to be used anymore, right? It's already not usable anymore. It's no. So you have to train your kids. You have to make them computer literate. That's going to be the future. Whether they start with ChatGPT, you don't need to go from scratch, C programming, Fortran programming, or Python, all those things. At least you have to be literate where you start from the basics of artificial intelligence, and then they just jump on the no, the train, and then they travel with it. It is a must.
What do you think,
Yeah.
Hassan?
Yeah, in a similar way. I mean, if you see that, Copilot, ChatGPT, even before that, right? So there was a trend towards low code platforms, right? So that was happening there, right? And the rise of citizen developers, and part of it is because developers always took time to deliver, to go align with the business. Business wants to move fast, and can the engineers go along with it? So that's why it came up. So now that's a new reality. We have to move fast. We have to come up with things, product faster to meet the business needs. That's first and foremost. And how do you do it? Whether it's using low code platform and using Copilot or using leveraging ChatGPT, that's one thing. There are some other repeated stuff you shouldn't have to do. Like, and how do you connect to the database? You don't have to Google it anymore. You should, like, hey, give me a code that's gonna connect to my database or whatever. So those are repeated stuff somebody shouldn't have to spend a lot of time doing. But I've seen myself, I played around with Python and in ChatGPT. It's like what I prompt, it just gives me. And I'm like, okay, give me a code to Python script to kind of
I think we lost Hassan.
generate this. Then I'm like, I look at the for it to do. Then I'm like, use a pattern to build. Let's say I gave like use a factory pattern to give me an abstraction, right abstraction. Did that. Then I'm like, okay, use an inversion of control this time, to do this. So one, I'm doing that. It's making the code better and better. But and I think that's why the developer engineers, they still need to know some of the fundamentals so that you can ask the right questions and do the right quality check. Whatever ChatGPT or Copilot is producing, does it fit what I want to do? Is it following the right pattern, right practices? So that's where I think somebody has to still, I feel that, know enough to, produce the right code that it generates. But it will improve my productivity. If somebody's, trying to do that, I can get things done faster.
Like Asan and Ram, like I when I use Chat GPT for very mature technology, like technology which has matured 2 years, 5 years, like GitHub, there has been no changes. Chat GPT works great. But like if you have to use Chat GPT for technologies which are emerging, changing, like cloud, Azure, every couple of months there are new things. And one more thing is like what happens initially nobody invested in code generation tools because technology changed. And without Angular came out of nowhere and took over MVC. And are you in Java? Most of the people started from, you took some code base, you bought some product, and you try to customize according to your business needs. And you end up, a lot of times you thought, oh my God, better I would have written code myself rather getting this code and making it work to my business needs. So these challenges where like ChatGPT is months behind, its code base. What do you guys think? Like this could shrink in future. Like what if technology changes?
Yeah, that's exactly why I feel is that, right? It's not going to be what you learn right now. Like you don't need to worry about Python. You don't need to worry about like, you need to have the core basics, right? If I need to query a database, what should I do? That's all you need to know. Don't worry about it. There are tools that's going to come. It's going to be so mature. It's going to validate the code. It's going to do the QA automation for you. It's going to generate test data for you. It's going to validate everything for you, right? Uh, Today it's there. I don't know, but I think it's not far away. It's not far away.
Far
But
away.
GitHub is maturing day by day. I mean, there are billions and billions of lines of code that's coming in every day. I mean, uh, I'm scared, right? But it gives a good set of code right now to start. That's why I said, right? My role, I mean, is diluted, and it's not no more of a potential use today. 10 years back, like no, if I work in an ERP, SAP, right? Uh, my work is what do you call appreciated. I mean, still it is, but what I'm trying to say is now anybody can do it. Like you have a starter, somebody else can do that work for you, right? But you still need to have the basics. That's where the architects come into play,
Architects.
right? They understand this, what do you call the bird's eye view of the landscape. They understand the integrations happening. They understand the patterns that's been used that can mature, right? So all those things comes to the architect play. So your skill set, has changed. You don't need to go from the base, uh, but there is a role for architects to play in this whole setup. That means that your kids doesn't need to learn from what I learned from day one. They can just start right now. They just can just plug in to a point where they can start learning what it is happening in the current world. That's where it is.
So, what do you think, Asan?
Right, very similar. And to add to what just Ram said, that when you're uh, thinking about a single product, let's say you want to build a web application, right? That's a very targeted piece of thing. It's a targeted piece of thing, and somebody could, with limited experience, can take advantage of tools like ChatGPTs and others to come up with a lot of code. But when you go into a little bit more enterprise scale, right? So there are a lot of different pieces involved. There's your ERPs, there's integration platforms like middlewares come into the picture. There's web, mobile, APIs, and so on. There's a lot of things that go into the ecosystem, right? So then somebody who's just focused on one area, it may have to take if they really want to go into go into the architecture role, have to kind of move up a little bit into the sense that, okay, how does all these things really fit in? How do you get the bird's eye view? How do you see data flowing between systems and connecting, and the connectivity different systems to meet the actual business need, because everything is driven by the business need, right?
Needs.
So now that's where things get tricky. I don't know whether I haven't tried myself. I don't know things like ChatGPT can really give you like, oh, okay, I want to have a pattern, enterprise integration pattern to exchange healthcare claims data between the systems, things like that. That's a little bit more involved than just to say, okay, give me a piece of code to connect to a database.
Database.
So that's where I think that things come into the picture, that okay,
Yeah,
there's time and place for everything. And so you use what is given, like, to not to get the nitty gritty stuff done. But when it comes to big, larger system, enterprise system, you have to think differently.
yeah. Just to add to what Ehsan said, right? I mean, if it takes 100 days for you to put an end-to-end architecture for a solution, probably it takes like 15 days now because the parts are available. You just need to bring them and then assemble them, right? So that's an innovation. That's time saving. That's like moving faster. That's helping business faster because this technology landscape is changing so faster. And especially, I want to take an example of COVID. When COVID hit, moving everybody to remote, having the technology to support them, and then people who are working in the factories who have to go into the factories, and how we are going to secure them, and then especially people traveling all over to come and service your machines, right? Can they do virtual? So coping up that COVID is a waking point for everybody to figure out like how fast we have to adapt new technologies to figure out things, right? So that is what ChatGPT is. So it gives you that parts. Now you connect it and then play with it faster.
Like I equate ChatGPT as 3D printer. Like we felt jealous that okay, hardware engineers had 3D printer where You come up the diagram and it will generate the whole product for you, which is great for innovation, as you said. So, like, what you guys think? ChatGPT is quite far. Like, it has large last process data was like 1 year old. Like,
22 or something.
yeah. So like, what you guys think? Gonna be that it gonna have that kind of processing power where it can process the data till yesterday or 1 month back, kind of thing, to be so that it can, like, a lot of smart developers, they love ChatGPT, and then they hate ChatGPT because if they are working on something latest technology, and ChatGPT means, you feel great when ChatGPT gives you immediate answer, and if it doesn't give you answer, you feel so bad. You try everything and it doesn't give you answer, and then you have to go your own way of googling, do error and trial to find the right answers. So what your thought, like, ChatGPT will reach that maturity level where it will be processing yesterday's data.
It all depends on how NVIDIA, Intel, AMD, no, what do you call Taiwan Semiconductors going to perform in the next few years, right? You need GPUs of power to process them, right? The chip industry has to develop. Again, it's the fast is the mantra, right? I mean, again, we're talking about having quantum computing, right? When today
Mm.
quantum computing is full, a room full of wires and all those things, right?
Yes,
And they put that to a chip. So
yes,
if that happens, probably yes, yes,
yes.
you can process billions and billions of data every day to do it. Till that point of the time, it's going to be a database as of, right? ChatGPT is always going to give a information as of, right? That's always a tag there. It's as of true as of September 2022, right? So they need to go back and then redo all those things that they have did. That means that you need a powerful machine, powerful GPUs. You need to spend billions and billions of dollars, unless until we make innovation on the chip side. This is where I said, right, we need to make a lot of innovations on the chip side, get into that AGI model. So till that point of the time, we'll be always in GI.
Asan? Yeah.
Yeah. So if you like compare to the early days of, neural net fuzzy logic when it was there, early days of search engines like Yahoo, search engines before even Google came out. And if you really see those, we didn't have a lot of computing powers then,
Mm-hmm.
versus what we have today. Today,
Today.
yes, we produced a lot of data, but we also have a computing power has gotten way better than what it was like, 20, 30 years ago, So it's like, in that sense, we power to that enable us, the AI, to become more mainstream, than what
True.
it was. Before it was just tied to like certain engineers who were like, building devices and so on, but now it's mainstream. Um, so the computing power is changing, continuously changing. You have, you can store large amount of data on the cloud and do all kinds of stuff with it, right? So we didn't have that before. So I think that plays a big role, that how, and as our computing power keeps growing, getting better, things, tools like this would get better, like, ChatGPT and others. But also how companies, if they are doing their own initiative by extending what, let's say, um, was it what OpenAI has provided, and with ChatGPT, then those are going to be there as well, but they may not be in the public world. To give you a couple of examples, that example I give of healthcare and, life science in this space, things are regulated. So we can't really use, ChatGPT for corporate purposes, the actual. So if you want to really you to leverage that power, you can essentially have to kind of extend that create a regulated environment so that the data doesn't leak out, data doesn't leak out, and keep it controlled. There will be companies who do that, to that. And again, they all have the same computing power on the cloud and so on.
So, what you guys think? Like, artificial intelligence, will it create more jobs or less jobs?
I think what's um, people with some AI knowledge or some understanding of, or who, no, I wouldn't say AI knowledge, let's say more like who wants to take advantage of this technology, probably will get a leg up versus somebody who doesn't want to use it, right? Um, so even, so, things like, let's say bookkeeping, for example, right? So QuickBooks does a lot of things out there that you needed people to do. AI didn't replace it. It's like there's those people on new platform can enable that, right?
Mm-hmm.
People can do their own bookkeeping.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the same thing, but it's like, but there are bookkeepers who became, let's say, QuickBooks savvy. There are people who became, those technology savvies and have their own services still going. You don't have the same numbers of people who are doing that. Uh, this is what it is. To me, it's like it's the same. If you can leverage AI, you're gonna get a leg up, and if you are not, fall behind.
That's it. And NVIDIA CEO said, like, artificial intelligence will not take your job, but the guy who knows how to leverage artificial intelligence will take your job. And I personally know it's happening. Ram,
Yes.
what are your thoughts?
That's exactly what I want to say. In fact, see, we see companies laying off thousands and thousands of people. Um, these roles will be replaced by AI at some point at the time, right? For example, people working in the warehouse, they've been already replaced by robots, right? People doing normal accounting, those will go away. People writing normal editing jobs, those will go away. So all those boundary jobs that can support technologies will go away to or to automation or robots to artificial intelligence. So there are core skills. Those will never get replaced, at least in the next 100 years or next 50 years, because these guys are the savvy person who can control artificial intelligence. That's why you jump on it. You know little bit of artificial intelligence, you are part of the society. Yeah, if you don't know anything, then you are not serviceable anymore. That's
So
the business
last,
they are in.
thank you. Last question, Ram, like before we conclude, what you guys think? Like, artificial intelligence should be an assistant to human being. We need to put some safeguards, build unions, or we can't do anything. It's let it go, innovation take its place.
See, I mean, hopefully, every industry needs regulation. Uh, Beyond that, right, there has to be some core human ethics that we have to come up with ourselves, like how we're going to use it, right? Because Einstein want to make a bomb to, what do you call, destroy Hiroshima and Nagasaki, right? E is equal to mc squared. He did it in a better way for us to solve other problems, but that was leveraged to make something else, right? So all these bigger organizations, they are also going to come up with ethics. They are all going to be regulated, but that I'm always scared about that 1 or 2% that is not regulated. That will be a problem there in the market. So we have to adapt to it, live with it, and then survive. I think intelligence is good for the society. It should replace all the mundane things that we are doing, uh, and then we should be more spending time on new productive things, right? So artificial intelligence as an assistant, I welcome to it. I'm slightly worried about that 1 or 2% that is there in the market right now. Yeah.
San?
Right. Similar, I would agree with Ram said. It's like, you know, it's there to come, improve our skills. At this stage, I think as long as we do that, that's great. Yes, there are some safeguards, and as I keep giving healthcare and bias life science example because I've been involved in this industry for a while, is that these industries will have to do their own work, whether there's a federal level, government level regulations or not, to control, safeguard people's data, people's information. Uh, there might be some, the government regulation could take some time. Sometimes it might go through several iterations of regulations and so on. But the innovation is a good thing. I think it's a good thing. AI is evolving. I see that. Once again, I'll give an example. A doctor, AI can make a doctor make a better decision. Diagnose a patient better, by just giving access to so much data and compute data, as opposed to doctor trying to figure out, on their own. Doctors are human being. It's not like, not necessarily, they're always going to make the right decision. I'm not saying AI is going to make the right decision also, but it's that, how we make this model better, improve, that's where people come in. And how we control it, that's where we come in. How we, train the AI models as we go forward.
Okay. Thank you, Hassan and Ra, for appearing my channel. And we will have more sessions like this. So today we discussed Elon Musk versus Sam Altman saga and artificial intelligence. Is it really threat to humankind? Also, will there be coding job in future, and whether artificial intelligence will create jobs or destroy jobs? Thank you very much. See you guys soon again.
Thank you for having me.
Take care. Bye bye.
Have a good one.